Hey everyone, it's Void, and I am here to do a quick rundown tutorial on using your Chibi pixel model. Now, these models do come ready to use out of the box, so this is just going to be a rundown for anyone who wants to customize even further, as well as a breakdown of exactly what is included out of the box. So as you can see, the model comes pre-prepped and ready to use. All you have to do is bring it in. All the parameters and everything are already set up. It should track properly. If it doesn't, please check all of your settings. Make sure that you are able to track other models, and if there's an issue, feel free to reach out to me. So from there, we're going to double click and we're going to hit the settings button and we're going to go over to hotkey settings and expressions. And here is where you will find the hotkeys that are auto included. If you have added on additional hotkeys, they will be in here as well. For example, we have this hood toggle for Ren's model. You can see at the top here, that is not included in the base. So we're just going to scroll down and here you will see the base expressions included in the model. I have the angry one, and I keyed this to numpad 1. Yours will not come with it keyed to anything. It will just have the expression here. So what you do is you hit the record button, and then these here will be all blank. So all you have to do is hit the key, which I hit numpad 1. As you see, it showed up. Hit done, and then it will be keyed to that key. All right, so you'll come with the 10 toggles, which is going to be the angry, the confusion, the cry, the dead, the dread, the confused spiral eyes, the eepy, the long neck, the love, and sprackles. um, so those are what comes included as the base hotkeys. However, there is a lot more that you can do, and this is where the customization portion comes in. If you don't want to do that, feel free to just skip the rest of this video, because the rest of this is just going to be customization. So if you go into this expression editor here and click Create New Expressions and then select, you will open up the parameters. At the top of this list is going to be anything that you personally commissioned as an add-on to your model. So as we can see, our glasses on toggle for Ren is right here. You can create your own combinations of these parameters and make it into a hotkey. So first we'll name it and call it test, and then we're going to go in and we're going to turn on different combinations. So after these initial ones that are your model specific, so Ren has 1, 2, 3, 4 model specific ones, we have the start of the standard ones that are included in everyone. So for example here, we turn on the angry mouth and then we slide this over to the 1. And as you can see, we have different mouth forms here now. Happy mouth, angry mouth, okay? And then over here, if we toggle this on, this is the angry toggle animation. So we slide that up to 1, and now we have angry. So if you remember, the preset hotkey for angry has both of these turned on. So how we did that is we simply created an expression and turned both of these on. But you can make any combination that you want. There are 28 toggles that are base included, but you can do even more than just the toggles. You can also impact your tracking parameters. So for example, if we wanted to, we can scroll all the way down and go to this brow form in parameter. We toggle that on, and this is the brow shape here. So we can, if we want to, turn the brow form in for both of these down to -1 to get our down brow shape to go with the angry. We can do a lot of things by messing with these. Now, I will say, just know that this will be overriding your tracking. So if you do this, you'll no longer be able to move your brows if you turn those on. If you turn on the open parameter, it means, as you can see, I toggled that eye to open, so now I can't close it. Or I'll toggle it to close, and now I can't open it. So just keep in mind that if you touch the tracking parameters, it will override your tracking, but that can be really great for making fun expressions. Then you can keep scrolling down here and you'll see a variety of toggles. Some of these are not included in any of the base expressions. We just had so many, and we wanted to keep the base hotkey combinations to a minimum to make them less confusing. So for example, you can turn on the static tiers separate from the tier animation. So you could have just static, you could have just animated, or you can have both, which is what we include. However, the one that we pre-made also has a change in the eyes, which it has this toggle turned on as well. So you can just do the tiers if that's something that you want. We also have another one that wasn't included, which is this snot bubble. Because again, we just have so many combinations, so it was hard to include them all and keep the number of base hotkeys pretty limited. And this snot bubble is tied to mouth movement. We also have the exclamation mark and question mark are separate, but we toggled them together. We also have this eye size change off, and this is not counted towards the 28. However, this sort of eye shrink that happens when you do surprise, not everybody likes that, so this toggle just turns that off, so you don't get the really tiny eyes. So if you don't want that to ever happen, simply create a toggle, name it eye size change off, save it, and then just turn on that toggle, and it'll just keep the change off permanently. And then we also have the mlem mouth. I believe this isn't included either in any of the toggles. We do have separate static and animated sweat toggles. I believe only the static is shown previously. And then we do have, again, like everything is separated out. Even just like the blush on the nose and cheeks is separated out. So there is a lot that you can play around with in here. And then once you are done making your toggle, let's just make this test just the cry. We'll hit save. And then we're going to click this button that says create new hotkeys for all unused expressions and hit select and then hit OK. And that new hotkey will show up at the bottom of your list. And then you just have to record what button you want it for. And as you can see, there is our cry. Now, there is a little bit more that you can do to customize your model if you would like to, and that is in regards to the tracking. Because yes, we did set up for as optimized tracking as we could get. However, how your model moves isn't just dependent on the rigging, it's dependent on your movement, your lighting, and your tracking setup. So there's no way for us to perfectly anticipate exactly how a model is going to respond to every single client. But you can customize it further yourself and make it perfectly reactive to your movement. If you click the model settings button up top, then you can go and adjust all of these parameters to fit your individual tracking needs. Do not touch this physics settings. Ensure that it stays at 60 FPS and the physics strength remains the same. A lot of this model is set up using physics, and if you adjust these settings, it may break the model or have unintended consequences. So moving on from there, we're going down to all these parameters. Each of these are named. So as you can see, this says face left right rotation. So that's this movement. On the left-hand number here, it says in, and this is the tracking. So this is what the program is tracking your movement as. And then on the right-hand side, it says out. So this is what you're seeing the model do. Okay, so what you want to make sure is this tiny little number that keeps changing a bunch as I move, you want to make sure it's actually hitting these numbers. So if I have 15 at the top, when I turn, I want to ensure that I actually get to 15. Let's say I turn and I only got to like 8 or something, then that means that my actual head turn range of motion is a lot smaller than what the computer expects it to be. So we would want to change this top number to 8, and then this bottom number to -8. Apologies, I have everything keyed to my numpad, so toggles go off. But now, when we get to 8 and -8, it'll max out our turn. But we really don't want to be over narrowing this because you'll get really stalled out movement. So we can even increase it. Just make sure that both numbers are always the same distance from 0, right? So if we change the top number to 20, we change the bottom number to -20, because if not, watch this. So this is going to permanently think that I am slightly turning to the side, even when I'm looking straight forward. And that's what will happen if you don't have them perfectly symmetrical. Do not touch the output numbers ever, because these output numbers are set by me personally based off of what the parameters I set up for the physics are and for the movement are. If you touch these, you very well could break your model or have unintentional movement. So please make sure you're only touching these input numbers. Then you can go through and check all of these. So if you're looking at the face up-down rotation, look up and down. And then say, I'm not hitting these numbers. I need to change it to the numbers I'm actually hitting. So we would change this to 20 and -20, and then we'll get a better range of movement with this. All right, and you can do that for every single one. It should have a name at the top, like this is face lean, brow form. Just keep in mind anything labeled left and right is model left and right, not your left and right. So make sure you check those correctly, right? And you can edit all of these in parameters until you get tracking that properly follows you. Some other really good things that you can do to help with tracking are making sure that your phase is properly lit up. If you only have an overhead light, see if you can get a desk light or a ring light. If you have a subpar lower tier tracking, like a really old phone, or you have like a really cheap or old webcam or something like that, you can still get good tracking if you focus on the placement of it and you really light up your face and you use like really exaggerated movements, you focus on the puppeting and you edit these. So you don't need like the most expensive equipment. You just need a really good setup, though of course, higher end equipment does help. But focus on those things first. Make sure your face is lit up. Make sure you edit these tracking parameters, make sure that your camera is as close to center of your face as it can be, and test things out. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions about your model, please come and ask me.